Hello, it's Friday, May 1st. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of What's Happening in Myanmar, a show from the Frontier Myanmar podcast family. I'm your host, Nick Dunlop. Yesterday, Myanmar's junta chief Min Aung Hlaing ordered ousted leader Daw Aung San Suu Kyi to be moved to house arrest, 5 years after her 2021 detention. While the 80-year-old's sentence was commuted to be served at a designated residence, the exact location remains unknown. Although state media released a photograph of Suu Kyi flanked by military and police, her son, Kim Aris, dismissed the image as a meaningless photo from 2022. Demanding real proof of life, Aris characterized the move as a calculated gesture designed to ease mounting international pressure. Last Saturday, the military announced a significant victory, declaring it had recaptured the Chin state town of Phalam. The town had been held by the Chin Brotherhood since April of last year. The junta stated its counter-offensive, which was launched from neighboring townships, killed 19 resistance fighters. The regime now says it is prioritizing landmine clearance before reopening schools and hospitals. A spokesperson for the Chinland Council confirmed the recapture. Meanwhile, the regime put on a public display of its authority. In Mandalay, 517 surrendered fighters from the People's Defense Force and other ethnic armies were handed over to their families. In Shan State, 61 members of the PO National Liberation Organization, which had previously sided with the resistance, were presented as having returned to the legal fold. These ceremonies are part of the junta's narrative that resistance is futile and that its authority is being restored. The regime is solidifying its diplomatic ties. On Saturday, China's top diplomat Wang Yi met with junta chief Min Aung Hlaing in Naypyidaw in what amounts to a powerful endorsement from Beijing. According to China's state-run People's Daily, Wang Yi said China firmly supports Myanmar in its development path and safeguarding its national sovereignty and security and territorial integrity. Min Aung Hlaing, in turn, pledged to strengthen ties and advance the Myanmar-China economic corridor. He also reiterated his support for One China principle that declares Taiwan as part of China ruled by the Communist Party. The meeting follows a similar visit by Thailand's foreign minister last week, showing that Myanmar's neighbours are actively engaging with the regime. This high-level diplomacy coincided with a renewed push for Myanmar's most controversial project, the Myitsone Dam. Junta officials met with residents in Kachin state capital Myitsone to persuade them to accept the resumption of the Chinese-backed dam. Construction of the dam has been halted since President Thein Sein suspended the project in 2011 due to massive public opposition. An editorial in the state-run Myanmar Alin newspaper blamed environmentalists and river lovers for hindering the project with misinformation and fear-mongering. The timing suggests the regime feels emboldened by Chinese support to revive a project that could have devastating environmental consequences. While the junta seeks to protect an image of stability, its campaign of repression continues, with journalists being a primary target. The Committee to Protect Journalists is calling for urgent medical care for jailed photojournalist Sai Tak. Sources inside Yangon's notorious insane prison say authorities have denied him surgery for a severe kidney illness despite his deteriorating condition. Sai Tak was arrested in May 2023 while covering the aftermath of Cyclone Mocha in Rakhine State and was later sentenced to 20 years on terrorism charges. He is one of 18 journalists currently imprisoned in Myanmar. Last week, the regime arrested 71-year-old author Tin Nyunt, a former teacher and National Literature Award winner, along with his son, who is a publisher. Their crime? Publishing books during the previous NLD administration, including one titled The Generals Who Lied to Me. They were charged with spreading fake news and incitement. The junta has also revoked the media licenses of Chin World, Konuto, and the Thailand-based outlet Nowadays News. The editor of Konuto stated the revocation was part of the junta's move to crush any organization it perceives as a threat. After more than 10 years of award-winning journalism, we at Frontier are facing a funding crisis. The grants that once supported 2/3 of our operations are no longer available. Despite this, our journalists continue their difficult and dangerous work, but with decreasing resources. It's no exaggeration to say that Frontier is fighting for its very survival. Please encourage friends and colleagues to join Frontier so that we can continue producing our trademark features, in-depth investigations, and on-the-ground reporting. By joining Frontier, you'll be supporting us to tell the stories that matter and cut through the noise and reveal what's really happening in Myanmar. Please click the link in the podcast show notes to join us. Thank you. The resistance is not only fighting the junta but also battling internal discord. In southern Shan State, a newly formed resistance group called Alpha Military Region 1 ambushed a convoy of the Mobye People's Defense Force, killing 9 of its members, including their leader. The ambush reportedly stemmed from a personal vendetta, a stark reminder of how fragile alliances can be when command structures break down. In Mandalay region, a former member of the Mandalay PDF revealed that battle fatigue, Chinese pressure, and the cutting off of weapon supplies, as well as the military's superior technology, forced them to withdraw from several towns. He also described deep internal divisions that led to the arrest of a former staff member on mismanagement charges, highlighting the immense strain on resistance forces after years of intense fighting. The Arakan Army, one of the most powerful ethnic armed organizations, is facing criticism. Residents in Rakhine State report the AA has confiscated Starlink internet devices without explanation, while simultaneously arresting youths attempting to leave its territory to avoid its new conscription law. These actions are creating resentment among the very population the AA claims to be liberating. That's the latest from Myanmar this week. I will be back next week to bring you a roundup of all the stories making the headlines on Friday, May the 8th.